you are a private lender who wants to add a brand new deal source outside of referrals and you're sick of pouring money into marketing that leaves you rate shopped or ignored, stay right here. In this video, I'm breaking down the 7 biggest mistakes I see lenders make every single week. These errors burn cash, waste time, and turn you into just another commodity in the market. I'm Abdul, founder of Breakthrough Rev, and we generate qualified pay-per-lead deals for private lenders with no retainers, no long-term commitments, and no ad spend on your side. If you like the idea of plugging into some done-for-you lead flow, just keep watching because halfway through, I'll explain exactly how our program works. So let's jump into mistake number 1. Mistake number 1 involves signing a 10 to 30K retainer. But most marketing agencies require a large upfront payment, and then on top of that, ad spend that needs to be paid before you even receive a single lead. The issue is, what happens if things don't work out? You're out of luck. Never lock yourself into a huge retainer and ad budget without your own proof. And by proof, I don't mean slick case studies. Everyone flashes case studies. I'm sure all those people who've been burnt in the past saw the case studies and still got screwed over because other people's success does not guarantee yours. You need to work the leads with your own follow-up processes, your own underwriting criteria, and your own specific offer to see what you can achieve. We are strong advocates for trial orders just to see if things will work before you commit and spend the big bucks. But when I say trial orders, I do not mean just judging quality and conversions based off of 3 leads, right? So if you expect a tiny trial of leads to end up in a closed deal, just don't even waste your time. Online web leads aren't going to be for you. That sample is just statistically insignificant. A lead is just that, a lead, not a funded loan. You have to spend money to make money in this game. No, you should not drop 20 grand upfront, but going to the other extreme and testing just 3 leads is just as silly. A real benchmark would be about 25 to 50 leads, and that shows pickup rates, quality, and how well your systems will actually convert. So the second mistake is using those one-click pre-packaged ad campaigns. Those cookie cutter offers, that promise you can launch in seconds by clicking a bunch of pre-assembled ads and landing pages. It sounds great, right? You just click one button and all your campaigns go live and everything's already ready, right? But until you realize that every other lender bought that exact same bundle, right? So here's why that actually kills you in the long run. So Facebook's algorithm, they optimize for conversion history. When prospect A fills out a form on an ad, Facebook goes, great, people like this convert. If 3 other lenders are running the same creative and the same ads with the same offer, the platform will happily send that same type of prospect that just converted to all of you. Right, so now you guys are all sharing leads. Congratulations, you're a commodity. Borrower now has 4 identical quotes in their inbox and starts rate shopping you guys to death to see what they can get best. Right, so ads aren't just crock pots. You can't just set and forget. Copy, creative, targeting needs weekly tweaks because platforms, costs, auction competition, and user behavior change constantly. Without that nurturing, yesterday's winner is going to be next week's dud. And it's the only way for you to stick out of the competition. You don't want to do what everyone else is doing and using these campaigns where people are essentially just sharing all of the same ads can really hurt you. All right, and so the next issue I see is spreading budget across multiple platforms too early. So here's the thing, launching Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok ads at the same time, it sounds ambitious, good job, right? But here's the problem. Every platform has its own learning curve, their own creative requirements, their own tracking quirks, and their own bid strategy, and their own things that make it work. When you didn't slice your budget, 1K here, 1K there, each channel only collects trickles of data that it could have if you were to just go all in on one platform. So algorithms can't optimize and you can't tell what's truly working because of that split budget. Think of marketing like lifting weights, right? You don't bench, squat, deadlift, and run a marathon all on 1 week, right? You pick one, master form, add weight, and stack up to the next exercise. So it's the same idea here. Start with one intent channel. Google search is my pick. Dial in the copy, landing page, follow-ups, and once you're profitable and have clear KPIs that allow you to scale, only then should you layer in a second channel as an amplifier, unless you have a ridiculously large advertising budget. At that point, feel free to do whatever you want. So the fourth mistake I see is chasing cheap leads instead of profitable ones. The headline number that matters isn't cost per lead, it's cost per funded loan. Cheap leads often signal weak intent, low pickup rates, and endless ghosting. While pricier leads, they tend to put real money in the bank and have higher intent. For example, I was working on a hard money campaign where someone was bragging about a $14 lead that they were getting, right? But they hadn't closed a single deal, right? So what we did is we tightened the form with screening questions about project type, timeline, credit score, and whether the borrower already had a property under contract. Lead cost jumped from $14 to $75, but suddenly the deal started funding, right? They were getting people who were picking up. They had a lot more intent. They already had the property, right? They were looking for a lender who can help them out, right? Those cheap $14 leads were nothing but tire kickers, right? And it's just a waste of time, and it hurts your algorithm. So when someone boasts, oh, my leads are only $10, I just picture half-filled applications, missed calls, and zero closings, right? So a stack of $100 leads that fund is a bargain compared to, just a bargain bin of leads that never turn into anything, right? So it's very important that we measure the dollar it takes to put a funded loan on the board. Everything else is noise. So the next mistake I see is thinking that leads are just going to close themselves, right? So leads need speed and persistence, right? So if a borrower needs money for a deal that closes in 2 weeks and you wait until after lunch to call, they'll just talk to the first lender who picks up, right? They'll find someone else and ghost you forever once the problem is solved. I see it every single day. 2 lenders pull from the exact same lead pool, so you can't say the quality is bad. Lender A calls in under 5 minutes, fires a text, drops a voicemail, and emails them. He follows up with, a value drip sequence, right, for multiple days, right? The result, over 85% pickup rate and steady closings. While lender B, he waits, when he has a time, a few hours later, maybe sends an email or whatever the case, calls once, expects them to call back whenever they have time, right? And his pickup rate is absolutely terrible. It's around 25%. The difference is not the lead source. It's the same exact lead vendor, right? It's the hustle that follows. Too many people are just expecting these leads to essentially just call you back, right? And don't have the persistence that's needed to call them ASAP. And that's what's hurting them. Now, the next mistake I see is pitch slapping Facebook groups and cold DMs, right? So free channels, they do work. Going on Facebook groups where people are looking for funding, it works. Don't get me wrong, but only if you lead with value instead of like a straight hard pitch all the time, right? So investor Facebook groups are absolute Shark Tanks. I'm sure you know. One borrower posts that they need a DSCR loan and 20, 50,000 people swarm them in the comments. They message them, like them. And yeah, it leads to just rate shopping you to death, right? That shotgun approach, it turns you into a noise and a commodity, right? What we need to do is flip the script, right? Post a quick breakdown of the latest DSCR guideline change or share an underwriting tip that saves investors time. Suddenly, you're the authority. And borrowers slide into your DMs because you've already proven you're different from the copy-paste crowd, right? So education first, pitch second, and that's how you win in the free game. Now, the very last thing is treating age lists as a bargain, right? So those $99 age lead lists, they look tempting, right? But they're loaded with 2 hidden costs: zero intent and TCPA liability. So the Telephone Consumer Protection Act says if you auto dial or text someone without prior written consent, you can be hit with $500 to $1,500 per call or text, right? So one blast to a recycled list can rack up 6-figure fines. And if you're still dialing people who forgot they ever opted in, right? So what you need to do is skip the bargain bin, pay for fresh, permission-based, intent-driven leads where people actually remember in order to actually get conversions and be on the safe side, right? So they may cost more upfront, but they protect your wallet and your reputation, and you'll actually get closed deals. So if you avoid these 7 mistakes, and put the fixes we covered into play, you'll be well on your way to building a high converting marketing engine in 2025. And if you're looking for something simpler, right, we do offer a pay-per-lead service where you can buy leads that actually close without running your own ads or gambling on a giant retainer, right? So just reach out to the team below if you're interested, and we'll love to help you out. And if you found this video helpful, just like it, subscribe to the channel for more tips about scaling the private lending business, and hit the bell so you never miss an update. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.